Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, the sun is shining, the birds are singing, and you're grumpy. You didn't get a good night's sleep. Now you have to face a day of work without being able to focus and just struggling to keep your eyes open. You go to work, you don't get a lot done, you can't focus, and you come home grumpy. And in an effort to try to unwind before you go to sleep, you turn on the TV and end up staying up past 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, unable to fall asleep. And when you wake up the next morning, you have to do it all over again, still tired and still grumpy. If you're like most Americans, this is a regular occurrence. In fact, the American Sleep Association has reported that upwards of 1 in 3 people have fallen asleep unintentionally during the day at least once in the last month. That's over 1 in 3 people. That's crazy. In addition to this, the National Geographic has reported that over 15,000 medical errors have taken place because the medical provider was just too tired. They didn't get enough sleep. So today I want to walk you through what happens when we don't get enough sleep and teach you about one habit that you can start forming today to improve your quantity and quality of sleep. So why do we need sleep as human beings? Scientists aren't 100% clear about this. There's still a lot of research being done, but one of the main consensuses is that we need sleep for normal brain function. It is clear, however, what happens when we don't get enough sleep. Some of the things that take place are we have impaired alertness. So we just aren't as alert. This affects our job. This affects our work. We can't focus at work. We might be drowsy while we're driving, things like that. The second thing that happens when we don't get enough sleep is impaired memory. We just can't remember things as well. We might not be able to remember as much as we might be able to if we had gotten enough sleep. And the third thing that it affects is our relationships. I don't know about you, but I'm grumpy when I'm tired. My husband does not like to be around me when I have not gotten enough sleep. I'm just kind of cranky. All of these are really important for us to remember as college students, especially. We are spending a lot of time and a lot of money to gain the skills and education needed for our future careers. If we can't remember what we've learned in school, then our likelihood of getting a good job post-graduation is kind of slim. If we're grumpy all the time, people aren't going to want to hire us. And if we're grumpy all the time, people won't want to give us promotions either. And that can be a problem. So how can you get better sleep? The sleep.org, which is powered by the National Sleep Association, different from the American Sleep Association, says that the blue light emitted from computer screens, TVs, cell phones, tablets, etc., actually restrain the release of melatonin, which is the sleep hormone. Melatonin allows us to fall asleep quicker and stay asleep longer. And so if we aren't getting enough melatonin released into our brains, then we have a harder time falling asleep, sometimes upward of half an hour, and we wake up more during the night, whether we remember these nighttime wakings or not. But they go on to say that in order to keep technology from harming our sleep, all we have to do is turn it off or set it away, stop looking at it 30 minutes before we go to bed. That's all, just half an hour. And you might be sitting there saying, but I can't fall asleep without looking at my phone. I have to check my emails. I have to check my Facebook. It's my time to unwind. The truth is, when we're looking at our phones, oftentimes we're on social media, we're on Pinterest, we're watching TV, and all of this is so much stimulus for our brains that it actually doesn't help us unwind. It actually keeps it stimulated. And after all of the technology and information that we've received throughout the day, we do need time to unwind, but technology isn't really the way to do it. Now, if you're like me, I grew up listening to books, on tape, falling asleep. That actually probably isn't very common, but maybe you've been looking at your phone to fall asleep for years. And it can be a hard cycle to break. But I tried it, and it works. My husband was away for a weekend. I had a book I had been really wanting to read, and so rather than look at my phone, I just set my alarm, plugged it in, and started reading my book. And to be honest, I fell asleep a lot faster, and I had such a good night's sleep, even though my son woke me up several times during the night. I've since tried this for a more extended period of time where I'll finish my homework, put my stuff away, do 20 minutes of yoga, and then read my scriptures and pray and go to sleep. The result has been that I feel so much more refreshed during the day, and I'm actually able to sleep at night. Even when my son does wake me up, the times that I am sleeping, I get a better quality of sleep. So I challenge you to 2 weeks of putting your technology away half an hour before you go to bed and see what happens. I want you to imagine with me a new scenario. You wake up, the birds are singing, the sun is shining, and you feel refreshed. You go to work, and because you're able to focus, you get a lot done. You come home happy to see your spouse, happy to see your roommates. You eat dinner, you do some homework. And when you're ready to go to bed, you set your technology aside, spend some time reading your scriptures, bonding with your family, playing with your roommates. And then you go to sleep, and you get a good night's sleep. And you wake up well rested the next morning just to do it all over again. So try it. 2 weeks, that's all. 2 weeks. Put your technology away half an hour before you go to bed and see what happens.